Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. Today we are going to learn how to make this mini 3D Christmas tree. We are making this Christmas tree using corner to corner granny square, and the process is really simple. You can use this mini Christmas tree as a wall decor, or you can also use it as a Christmas ornament. As you can see at the top, you have the section which can be used to hang this ornament to the Christmas tree. So let's get started. We're going to start off by making a magic ring. To make a magic ring, wrap the yarn twice around the two fingers and then make a chain of one. So this chain of one is to secure the magic ring in its place, and now we can take the magic ring out of our fingers, and into this magic ring we are going to make 5 double crochet. So this is the first double crochet, the second double crochet, the third double crochet, the fourth double crochet, and the fifth double crochet. So after you're done with 5 double crochet, you'll pull the tail yarn and close the magic ring. Now moving on to the second row, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Now between the first and the second double crochet, the space between the first and the second double crochet, we're going to make 4 double crochets in this space. So this is the first double crochet, the second double crochet, the third double crochet, and the fourth double crochet. After this we are going to, so here we will have total of 5 stitches. The chain of 3 is considered as a stitch. Now we are going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1 2 3, and into the space that is between the second last and the last double crochet. Into this space we are going to make 5 double crochets. So this is the second double crochet, the third double crochet, the fourth double crochet, and the fifth double crochet. So after the fifth double crochet, we'll move on to the row number 3, and we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Now again, like what we did before, between the first stitch and the second stitch we're going to make 4 double crochets. This is the first double crochet, the second double crochet, the third double crochet, and the fourth double crochet. Now the next set of stitches we're going to make into the space that has been created between the clusters. So into the space we're going to make 4 double crochets. So this is the first double crochet. So I'll refer to this gap between the clusters as the space. So here we are, into the space we are going to make 4 double crochets. And once we're done with the 4 double crochets, similarly to what we did before, between the second last and the last double crochet we are going to make 5 double crochets. So the starting set of stitch or the cluster will have 5 double crochet, whereas the clusters in between will always have 4 double crochets. So this is the last cluster, so we are making 5 double crochets into it, and we're done with row number 3. Now to move on to row number 4, we're going to chain 3 again and turn our work. Between the first and the second double crochet we are going to make 4 double crochets. So including the chain of 3 we are making 5 double crochets for the first cluster of stitches. So continue making 4 double crochets. Once you're done with that, into the space between the two clusters, you're going to make 4 double crochets. So this row has 2 spaces, so this is the first space. So into the first space we are making 4 double crochets, and into the second space also we are making 4 double crochets. So like I said, into the spaces we'll always make 4 double crochets, whereas into the first and the last cluster we will have 5 double crochets. So this is the last cluster of this row, so we'll be making 5 double crochets between the second last and the last stitch. So make 5 double crochets, and once we are done with 5 double crochets, we are done with row number 4, and we are going to move to row number 5. So based on the height of, like, what height you would want your Christmas tree to have, you can increase the number of rows. So here we are working on increasing the clusters, and you can continue increasing the clusters based on how many or how long you want your Christmas tree to be, and after that you can start decreasing the clusters. So this is row number 5, and here we are making the first set of cluster, which has the 5 double crochets as usual, and this row has 3 spaces. So into those 3 spaces you will make 4 double crochets in each. So this is the first space, and make 4 double crochets in it. This is the second space, make 4 double crochets in this space as well. And now into the third space, make 4 double crochets here as well. And now between the second last and the last space you're going to make 5 double crochets. So I am going to stop increasing the clusters at row number 5, but you could continue adding 1 or 2 more rows if you want the Christmas tree to be taller. So after row number 5, I'm going to start decreasing the clusters. So in this row, we're going to continue making the 5 double crochets. So here we are done with 5 rows. And like I said, after the 5th row, I will start decreasing the clusters, but you can add few more rows above it and increase in similar manner like how we did so far. So for row number 6, chain 3 and turn your work, and because we are going to decrease it, do not make any cluster in between the first and the second double crochet. Instead move to the first space, and in that make 4 double crochets. So here, if you have noticed, we have skipped making the cluster in the first space, in the first space, or between the first and the second double crochet that we usually do, because now we are decreasing the clusters. Into the second space, make a cluster of another 4 double crochet. So this row has 4 spaces, so into each of the spaces we will make 4 double crochet. This is the second space, and we made 4 double crochet here. This is the third space, we are going to make 4 double crochet here as well. And finally, into the fourth space we are going to make 4 double crochets again. Now into the last section that we generally make a cluster, we are not going to do that. So between the second last and the last, we are not going to make a cluster. Instead, we're just going to make 1 double crochet in this space. So here we're just making 1 double crochet, and if you would see, this row has 4 clusters alone. Now we're going to chain 3 and turn our work, and because we are decreasing, we will not make any cluster in the first space. Instead, we will start making our clusters from the second space. So make 4 double crochets into this space. So make 4 double crochets, and this is the first space. Then into the second space, make another 4 double crochet. So this row will have only 3 clusters, and once you're done making 4 in the second space, make another 4 double crochet into the third space, and because we are decreasing, we will not make any cluster in the last space. Instead, we are just going to make 1 double crochet. So just make 1 double crochet into this last space. Now chain 3 and move to the next row. Turn your work, and here too we will skip the first space and we'll work only into the next 2 spaces. So make 4 double crochets into the next 2 spaces. This is the first space, make 4 double crochets, and into the second space also make 4 double crochets, and once we're done with this cluster, we are just going to make 1 double crochet in the last space. So this is the last space. If you want, you could mark the first and the last space just to identify them better. And here in this row we have only 2 clusters, and moving on to the next row, we are going to continue in a similar manner. This is row number 9. We are going to chain 3, turn our work, and here too we will skip the first space, and here we will just make a set of 4 double crochets into the middle space that we have. So we will have only 1 cluster for this row. So make 4 double crochets and then make 1 double crochet into the last space. Now for the last row, we are just going to chain 3. This is row number 10. So chain 3, turn your work, and just make a slip stitch to the last space. So once you made a slip stitch, you can chain 1, pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and you can pull the full yarn through it, and we can use this tail yarn to make the stitching. So leave a long tail yarn, and as you can see, we have made a corner to corner granny square, and we're going to use this granny square to convert it into a Christmas tree. So this is the Christmas tree that I already made. So turn the granny square upside down such that the clusters are facing downwards, and now we're going to turn it to the other side, and we are going to hold the tip of it and then fold it in this particular manner. Fold the left side and fold the right side such that they meet at a center point at the bottom, and the point where it meets at the bottom, we are going to fold the bottom section as well and connect it at a center space. So this is where all 3 sides meet. We can use a stitch marker just to keep them in place, we are going to stitch it, but until we stitch it, if you want to keep them in place, we can use a stitch marker to hold them in place. So we already have a tail yarn that we left at the end of the granny square. So use a tapestry needle and thread the yarn in, and now you can remove the stitch marker. So first what we're going to do is we're going to bring the stitch to the center of this chain 3 so that it is placed right in the middle. And now we are going to connect or stitch the other two corners. So there's no right or wrong way of doing it. You can just pass the needle through the corner of this other section and pull the yarn tight, maybe just to secure it, pull it through one more time. So connect these two corners and now connect the third corner as well. Pass it through one of the stitches at the end or at the corner and pull the yarn tight. So now all three corners are in place. You can secure it by passing it through the stitches one or two more times again. And now we are going to stitch this middle section or this long section here, and we're going to connect these two panels together. So here you just have to pass the needle through both the sections, stitches of both the sections, and connect the two sides together. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Just make sure that the two panels are stitched together. And if you prefer, you could stitch the bottom two sides as well, but for I feel that stitching the top two panels alone does the work for me. The end corners are anyway connected together, so I am not bothered about the space or the bottom two areas where few stitches may be placed. So I'm just stitching these two sides together. So once I reach to the top of the Christmas tree, I already have a tail yarn out there. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pass the needle through few of the stitches at the end and make sure that the yarn is secured here. And once it is near to the other tail yarn, I'm going to tie the two yarn together. So let's trim off the longer tail yarn, and I'm going to tie a knot at the base of these two tail yarns just to make sure that the stitches does not come off. So I'm placing a knot at the base of these two tail yarns, and this knot is placed a little bit off and not at the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the last stitch or the magic ring that we initially created and pull this knot through it. And if you see now, the yarn or the two tail yarns are positioned exactly at the center of or the top of the tree. I'm also going to place another knot at the end of the two tail yarn so that I can use these two tail yarns to hang my ornament to a Christmas tree. And so we are done with the tree. We are just going to need, we will be adding the base of the Christmas tree. To do that, I'm using a brown yarn and I'm making a slip knot first, and I'm going to pull this slip knot through the center of the base of the Christmas tree. I'll show you how you can identify the base or the center of the stitch. So here if you see, we have this last cluster that we folded to the other side. So it is on this last cluster that we are going to uh, make our stitches of the brown yarn. So the last cluster had 4 double crochets, so that we will be going to the mid of the 4 double crochets, so there should be 2 double crochets on each side. So use the last cluster and enter your hook through or between 2 double crochets such that it is positioned exactly at the middle of the base. And now that you have identified the middle stitch, you can pull this brown slip knot through it, and we are going to use this slip knot to make a chain of 3 first. So chain 3. So after making the chain of 3, the chain of 3 is considered as the first double crochet. Make 3 double crochets into the same space, so that makes 4 double crochet. So this is the second double crochet and the third double crochet, and after the third double crochet make a chain of 3, and this chain of 3 is also considered as a double crochet, and slip stitch to the same space. And after making the slip stitch, chain 1, pull the yarn tight to make a knot and trim off the yarn. So this cluster has a total of 5 double crochet, the first and the second double crochet being a chain of 3. Now we have this tail yarn at the back side. We have 2 tail yarn. These tail yarns you can stitch in using a needle, or in my case I'm using a smaller crochet hook and just pulling them through few of the existing stitches and trimming off the excess. Similarly for the other tail yarn also, I'm just pulling it through this section where I can hide the tail yarn and then trimming it off. So here our Christmas tree is done. As you could see, it was a pretty simple pattern, and based on how long you want you want to change the size of the Christmas tree, you can add more rows to it. I hope you enjoyed this simple Christmas tree tutorial. Do refer to my channel for other simple and easy videos. Also subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for notification on new videos. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, guys.